in the world.
Get close to him so he can be in the shot.
Have you enjoyed this so far? I was running around, so I don't know if this was made clear. His Excellency from the United Arab Emirates, that was just on screen, who is the first Minister of Artificial Intelligence for any government in the world. I'm proud to announce today that at about 4 this morning, the UAE issued or agreed to issue a press release in concert with Operation Hope, placing the minister on the board of directors of the AI Ethics Council, for which I co-chair with Sam Altman. That takes this work internationally, in fact, makes it global. There are other announcements that will be coming. I was invited to go to the UAE to speak in February, and I'm going to try to honor that request. Let me now get to the meat of the matter. By the way, didn't Van Jones do a great job in that last session?
Thank you, sir. Love you, brother.
And Ruth Porat, there's a lot of presidents of this and presidents of that. When you're president of Google, that's like being prime minister of the UK or something. I mean, it's a big deal. And to have a woman in that role, in particular, I think is incredible. Ruth, we love you and respect you and appreciate you. She is brilliant. And thank you, Michael Milton, who made that connection for her and me. We're sitting once again in a moment in history. I call this the third Reconstruction. I thought I had the narrative worked out and correct, that first Reconstruction was freedom, Civil War, post-period, Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, so many heroes and sheroes of that era. Then second Reconstruction, 20th century, 1958, about 1968, 1970. Dr. King, Coretta Scott King, Dr. Dorothy Height, Ambassador Andrew Young, John Lewis, a bunch of heroes and sheroes that reset this country, and that was about access. And we're honored to have Ambassador Young, of course, with us at the Forum Living History. And yes. And then the third Reconstruction, I believed was and is about opportunity and ownership. Financial literacy is a civil rights issue of this generation. And we need to go from the streets to the suites. You've heard me say that before. Yes. And you can do it. I talked about the colors, not black and white or red or blue. It's green. Okay? And I still believe that. And it's hard to get me off my focus. And I've been passionate about this issue and unrelenting. I believe that we're in the third Reconstruction, and you always have 5 years of disruption, 3 to 5 years leading up to Reconstruction. So you have the assassination of Abraham Lincoln leading up to the first Reconstruction. You had the assassination of Dr. King in the second Reconstruction, and I believe you had the assassination of George Floyd at the triggering effect in COVID in the third Reconstruction. I thought this was all worked out. Then I met this guy named Sam Altman. And Sam asked me to come out and come by his office. He's wearing some jeans and a t-shirt, as I recall. And I was suited and booted. And I thought I was refined. I had the world all figured out. And then Vanny opened up his MacBook and blew what was left of my mind when he showed me in I think it was mid-2022, a beta sample of this thing that you now call ChatGPT. It hadn't been publicly announced, and I could not process what I was looking at. But I knew at that moment that the world had just changed. And later on, I'll save you the story, later on he said, John, what should I do? You gotta make sure you involve underserved communities. We are always left out. We need to be part of the dialogue on the front end, the beginning. And so he promised to come on a tour of underserved communities. His office called, Sam's really busy, he can't do the tour. I said, no, he has to do the tour, so I called him directly, and he said, let me work on this. He called me a couple months later, said, look, the president of the United States back then, the Biden administration wants me to come to the White House. Is there any chance when I leave the White House I can come to your house, come to Atlanta? Can you host me in 3 days? Sure. I just said yes, had no idea what we were going to do. It was 2 in the morning, I called Dr. French, who's president of Clark Atlanta University, wake him up in the middle of the night. He said, this better be good. Dr. French was very gracious. We hosted the King family, the Young family, the Civil Rights family, all the heroes and sheroes at Clark Atlanta University, which, by the way, is a location where Dr. King's funeral was held, for those who don't know Clark's history in the Civil Rights Movement. And he said, this will probably solve cancer in 10 years, and then something really bad may happen, and I can't tell you what it's going to be. But this is going to change everything. And I knew at that point, nothing scares me, but I was absolutely both inspired and completely petrified.
Yes.
Nothing much scares me, but this completely blew my mind. And here's what I have to say to you. What you're about to experience between now and 2030 is like what happened between 1850 and 1910. Between 1850 and 1850, it was about the horse and the buggy. Everything was a horse. 1850, 1860, 1870, 1880, 1890, 1900, 1 out of 10 jobs was a farrier, somebody who changed horseshoes. And every other job, my guess is, Milton, was tied to the horseshoe metal and the horseshoe, the pins and
manure.
The manure, and thank you very for that, Van. Very eloquent statement. Very organic. And but that was the economy. Horses were the transportation. Horses were the class environment. You had
wealth.
It was wealth. It pulled your Cadillac. What do you call it?
The wagon.
The wagon. It was everything. Horsepower, miles per hour, horsepower. So by 1910, here comes the automobile. It wasn't one manufacturer, it was 109 manufacturers, and most of them failed. A couple punched through. One of them called the Ford Motor Company that paid their workers enough to buy the automobiles they were making, create the assembly line, and that created the modern middle class. But the horse by 1910 was glue. I'm not offending horse lovers. I don't have an opinion. I'm just telling you the economic value of a horse in 1910 had gone from everything to glue. That was 60 years. You follow me? Between 2004 and 2030, not 60 years, 6 years. You're gonna go from a human-centric economy to a technology-centric economy. Everything's going to change. Don't be afraid of it. When you're being run out of town, get in front of the crowd and make like a parade. Some of my mainstream friends seeing this train coming at them, because this is not just affecting poor people and struggling people. You've got a job in customer service, you have a high school education and no hustle and no skills, and you don't want to work, you're in trouble. I don't care what color you are. You're in trouble, because this technology is going to automate everything that can be processed. Don't get mad, get even. Your job's not gonna be taken by AI. Your job's gonna be taken by somebody who can use AI. If you were middle income and you have a job making 6 figures, Caucasian, educated, whatever, and you are lazy about the future, it's gonna take your job. Van Jones gave me credit for a quote. It's really his. 99% of black people don't know a thing about AI, but 99% of white people don't know a thing about AI either. It's equal opportunity discrimination. But you get to reset the world when you're in it. You're going to live in a moment. You are living right now in a moment in history. So let me come now. Rainbows only follow storms. You cannot have a rainbow with a storm first. For those who are going through a crisis, who see this as a crisis, my mainstream friends who say, oh my God, this feels like a crisis. If you're underserved, or you're black, or you're brown, you're a woman, you're Latino, you're Asian, you're Indian, you're other, you're poor white, let me say, we have a crisis every Tuesday. We've been doing so much with so little for so long, we almost do anything with nothing. Can I get an amen? So we're not afraid, we're inspired.
That's right.
So today,
That's right.
I am proud to tell you that for the first time in 33 years, I had to look at financial literacy, which has been my singular focus, and I had to push it to the middle of the page and make room for AI literacy. Today we need to have civil rights and civil rights. Financial literacy and AI literacy, which I think is future literacy and future proofing. Today we announce to the world, Hope AI.
No. It's a big deal, bro. They don't know.
We are the first national nonprofit organization to frame a national support system for underserved communities around artificial intelligence. This will include 3 fundamental elements. We're going to take our 1,500 offices that teach and coach on financial literacy, and we're going to layer on top of that AI literacy. We're going to give you the skills to compete in a new economy. If you want to get a job, keep your job, create a job, start a business, create an app, create a solution, literally everything around you is going to be reimagined. AI in screens, AI in furniture, AI in carpet, AI in litter. Pick an area. We're going to help, number one, help you skill and reskill. The biggest part of this comes last. That's why the gentlemen are behind me. The second part of this is called community AI. And that's where we're going to take all the nonprofits in this country with $1 million or less in annual budget, and we're going to get sponsors to underwrite the cost of membership in community AI that allows them to plug into accounting tools, data tools, fiscal tools, underwriting tools, artificial intelligence technology in a platform that allows them to plug in so they're not left behind with good work that can't be funded.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Because you need data, you need accounting, you need systems. You cannot just have a dream. You cannot, as Dr. Dorothy Height said, John, I'd like you a dreamer with a shovel in your hands. We need to give you an AI shovel in your hand.
That's right.
So
That's right.
all small nonprofits will have a chance to have a membership in community AI, plugging into the essential tools that allow you to be competitive. And we're going to have our coaches coaching you up to allow you to enter the markets of the future. We're going to make sure our people are educated in AI, otherwise they won't have a job because they need to be part of this movement also. Now, why are these gentlemen behind me? Because we need an army for good, a coalition of the willing. So I'm proud to tell you today that today the first founders, the founding signatories to a new distribution channel for AI is 100 black men of America. Big brothers and big sisters of America. The United Negro College Fund. The Dream Machine with none other than Van Jones. And as you'll be hearing soon, our first tech partner is Shopify. As with all of our dreams, they start modest, they start small, and they grow. You're going to see more tech companies sign on to be next to Shopify. You're going to see more community partners sign on to join them. If we don't have 30 national partners by the end of the first quarter, I'd be astounded. This is the beginning of a new future for all of us.
Look, even I'm not dumb enough to follow that. John Hope Bryant. John Hope Bryant.
Good morning, everyone. Wait a minute. This is Anna. Good morning, everyone. So, how would you not want to join and get in the Army with this man leading the way, right? Let me tell you, I am proud to be on this stage. And, John, let me tell you, my brother, you have vision, passion, conviction. Big Brothers Big Sisters is here because of the mission that we do every single day. But that mission doesn't happen without community, without partnerships, without leaders like John Hope Bryant and Operation Hope. And that's why I'm here on this stage today, right? I'm here on this stage today because we are a mission that's in our DNA, is about creating access, right? 120 years ago, we were founded as a mission, and we were founded as a mission that many people don't know is an alternative to the juvenile justice system. One person, a court clerk, yes. A court clerk had an idea and said, instead of sending kids to the justice system, what if we gave them a different type of opportunity, a different type of access? And that was access to relationships, to mentorship, to connections that could create jobs and opportunities, not only to change their lives, but very importantly, to empower young people to change the communities around them and to change this country. And let me tell you, 120 years later, we're now the largest youth mentoring organization in this country, serving 5,000 communities. 5,000 communities. And here's what I will tell you about this. What I will tell you is that when a young person joins our program, they're 20% more likely to go to college. They generate 15% more earnings across their career. They become financially independent more earlier, right? If they're in a lower income household and grew up like I did, by the time they become an adult because of mentorship, they essentially close the economic gap between their more well-off mentor. And for every dollar that's invested, we return 7 times as much back to the workforce, back to the economy, back to the community. So why are we on this stage? Why are we at this table? Because in that same moment of that idea of one person saying we needed to make radical change, radical purpose, we need radical change and radical purpose today, and we need to have leaders and partners that help us to do that. Here's what I will leave you with, that this partnership is about putting empowerment in young people's hands. 74% of young people across America don't have the confidence about navigating 18 to 25-year-olds. That's our fastest growing population that we're serving today in Big Brothers Big Sisters. Because young people are entering high school and about to graduate and saying, what's next? How do I navigate? How do I have the skills? We are seeing more and more this empowerment of young people who want to do, who are encouraged, who are empowered, but just need the chance and just need the opportunity. But they also need the skill sets, and they need mentors in their lives. Today, we have 20,000 young people on our waiting list who
His
are
father
waiting.
was a preacher.
Which means I never found a microphone I didn't like, y'all. But I will close with this, and I will say that the importance of what we do and what we're trying to do today is put power in young people's hands so that they can navigate, they can make decisions, they can feel empowered, they can grow. And when we do that, y'all, we not only change their lives, but we empower them to change their surroundings, to change their community, to change this country, and to ultimately change this world. Let's go.
All right, thank you, brother. Well, I have the privilege of representing two organizations. I'm going to do it in a small amount of time, but a deep amount of commitment and compassion. Rarely in your life do you get to change history. Rarely in your life do you get to see a level playing field. We haven't seen a level playing field yet, but we're seeing one today. I want to thank John Hope Bryant and his team, Van Jones and his team, and Artis Stevens and his team for being a part of this changing of the game. I represent the 100 Black Men of America, Inc. 60 years ago, 100 men in New York said they had had enough, and it was time to change the game. They'd seen injustice enough, and they had to come together. 40 years ago, that became a national organization, and we still are saying we have changed much, but we have more to change. AI is that rocket we've been looking for. And they say if the sky's the limit, why are the footprints on the moon? We are going to change the world by changing the tools we use and how we equip our young people, our middle-aged people, and our older people to use the colorful history of our race with tools that make sure that we never fall behind again. And we thank you for that opportunity. As I represent UNCF as the first African-American chair of the board, I will say this. We're over 80 years old. We're always birthing new ideas. This is right in our wheelhouse. We're proud to be a part, to be a signatory to this change. A mind is a terrible thing to waste and a wonderful thing to invest. And I don't have to quote you all the statistics, you know them. But we're just going to change those, so I don't need to quote the old ones. Stand by for the new ones. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, so as we move to sign this symbolic commitment board, we want to thank Georgia State University, Dean Phillips for AILP3 that led up to this, the AI Ethics Council Board of Directors, Operation Hope's Board of Directors, all our partners in Now Hope AI. While you're sitting here, a press release has been issued about Hope AI. The website has gone up for Hope AI. We are going to go, now here's how you participate. We're going to go from 1,500 offices between now and 2030 to 15,000 offices. You can make a Hope commitment online to say, I want to be a club, I'm on a college campus, I have a church, a synagogue, a mosque, a boys and girls club, a community office, I want to be on my block, a links car organization, whatever, I want to be part of this, I want to have a club, I will coordinate that, meaning you, I'll coordinate Hope AI and financial literacy coaching in my community, you become the quarterback, you become the hero and the shero that changes our world.